The artificial person, the corporation. So this is video about economics, the invisible hand. A corporation is a legal person. It can enter contracts, borrow money, employ workers, go to court, own property, pay taxes, and so on. At first, every corporation was unique, but now they have come to resemble one another. The owner or stockholders contribute money for shares of the company's stock. In other words, they buy slices of the company, money or the capital. The company gives stock and dividend. The corporation uses the money from the sale of stock to do business. The profit is either reinvested in the business or divided among the shareholder. The payout is called dividend. If a corporation fails, the stockholders can lose the money they invested, but nothing more. It is called limited liability. Shareholders don't run big companies. They elect directors, and the directors direct managers, appoint and supervise. That lets crowds of the people pool their money to undertake big projects. Not every corporation is a big business, but almost every big business is a corporation. It also means that big businesses takes on a life of its own. You may own stock in Ford, but that gives you very little power over Ford. You are mostly along the ride. In fact, it usually doesn't matter who owns the share, which is why stocks can be bought and sold freely. The whole arrangement is awkward and inefficient. Managers will never work as hard for someone else's business as they would for their own. Negligence and profusion, therefore, must always prevail, more or less, in management of the affairs of such a company. To be merely useless, indeed, is perhaps the highest eulogy which can ever justly be bestowed upon a corporation. In fact, in Smith's day, corporations were so cumbersome that they need government favors just to survive. To Smith, one benefit of laissez-faire was that it would kill this corporation. Down with the man. Corporations weren't the only ones who get favor. For instance, English merchants had legal monopolies on trade with England's American company. That meant high profit for English merchants, but English and American consumers paid higher prices and higher taxes to enforce the law. The sneaking arts of tradesmen are thus elected into political maxims for the conduct of a great empire. Another sequence is the American Revolution. It is well known that British taxes irritated the American colonies. Taxation without representation is tyranny, but those British monopolies upset them too. Even the East India Company annoyed the colonies. It overcharged. It would be cheaper to go to China and buy tea myself, not load, as said by EIC. And when the company nearly collapsed through its own short-sighted greed, the British government rescued it with a tax break, while the colonies still paid a tax on tea. The colonies felt better after dumping the EIC's tea in the drink. The Boston Tea Party, 1773. Down with the corporation. The Boston Tea Party helped set the American Revolution, 1775, 1783, in motion, and then soon France, in the habit of fighting England, since it is also said in page 18, joined in on the American side. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. By the time Britain lost, the cost of the war had sent the French debt out of control. French economists saw the crisis as an opportunity. Now the chance to make our whole economy work like it should. To impose radical changes, King Louis XVI needed the approval of the Estates General, French Parliament. The Estates General hadn't met in more than a century, so a bunch of brand new delegates saw up, afire with radical ideas, like we are the government. So it led to the French Revolution. Best of time quickly followed by the worst of time, which is the French Revolution. The Estates Generales renamed itself the National Assembly and set to work fixing everything. If we remove irrational laws, superstition, trade barriers, people will be guided by their natural reason. But people didn't suddenly become rational. Taxpayers didn't pay their rational taxes. The price of bread kept spiking. The National Assembly split into factions. The first is leftist, and rightist. Radical of the speaker's left, and the conservative, relatively speaking, on the speaker's right. The left went nuts and killed their rivals in reign terror, chaos, invasion, and the military rule of Napoleon Bonaparte, and 2 decades of war followed. The collapse of the French Revolution's lofty hopes disillusioned a generation. European writers wrote of progress leading to horror. We have created a monster. And not just novelists, the champion pessimist of the age, maybe of all time, was British scholar Thomas Malthus, 1766-1834. It goes to Malthus and Ricardo. This is very famous. See you next video. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.